Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In The Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge's ultimatum to Carter sparks a corporate civil war. Never had the Forrester Creations headquarters felt more like a powder keg. In the center of the storm, Ridge Forrester stood with his jaw clenched and his piercing gaze fixed on Carter Walton, the man he had once called a brother. The air between them crackled with the weight of loyalty, betrayal, and a shared history that now hung by a thread. Ridge's voice, which was typically laced with the easy charm of a man who had fought 1,000 boardroom battles, was razor-sharp as he said the words that would irrevocably break their bond and the company's future. Ridge snarled and slammed a file of damaging documents onto his desk, saying, "You have 24 hours to make up your mind. If you don't, I'll bury you. And if you don't think I'll make sure you never come to this town again, you've forgotten who the hell I am." The ultimatum was more than just a threat, it was a declaration of war. Tensions had been simmering beneath the smooth exterior of Forrester's corporate facade for weeks. Carter, the company's unflappable COO and Ridge's most trusted confidant, had been quietly planning a rebellion. His crime was siding with Ridge's ex-wife, Brooke Logan, and the matriarch of the Logan family to overthrow Steffi Forrester's leadership and divert Forrester's resources to Hope's nascent Hope for the Future line. For Ridge, this wasn't a strategy, it was treason. For Carter, it was survival. The tipping point, a broken friendship. Carter's time at Forrester Creations had been characterized by his devotion to the family, cleaning up their scandals, negotiating their mergers, and taking the blame. But as Steffi's hold on the CEO position grew stronger, Carter found himself marginalized, his counsel disregarded in favor of her aggressive, profit-driven directives. The rift between Ridge and Carter had been simmering for years, a slow burn of resentment and unspoken grievances. Brooke, who has always been Hope's strongest advocate, confronted Ridge after Steffi cut off funding for Hope's sustainable fashion line, calling it niche idealism. When Ridge refused, putting Steffi's vision ahead of Brooke's requests, Brooke turned to Carter. Their alliance started out innocently, with lunches and whispered conversations in empty conference rooms, but as Steffi's dismissals became more blatant, their cooperation grew. During a secret meeting at Il Giardino, Brooke argued, "She's choking the life out of Hope's potential. If we don't act now, there won't be anything left to save." Tired of being Steffi's errand boy, Carter saw an opportunity to regain his agency and, using his legal expertise and Brooke's insider knowledge, he started courting minority shareholders, positioning Hope's line as Forrester's moral future. However, Ridge saw only betrayal after being notified by a leaked email. The conflict, ambition versus loyalty. Ridge paced behind his desk like a tiger in a cage, his voice low and deadly as he analyzed Carter's every move, and the encounter in his office was a masterclass in repressed rage. "After everything we've built, after everything I've done for you, you're going to throw it all away for a Logan power play? You think I don't know what this is?" Ridge yelled, pointing to the incriminating records. "Brooke's using you to get to me, to this family. And you're letting her." The truth was more nuanced than Ridge realized, and Carter's composed exterior faltered as his mind raced. Brooke's campaign was about more than simply hope, it was about regaining her own significance in a firm that had marginalized her, and for Carter, it was about respect. With a firm but defiant tone, Carter shot back, "This isn't about Brooke. It's about balance. Steffi's short-term victories are driving this company into the ground. Hope's line is the future, and if you can't see that, you're as blind as your father was." "Don't you dare talk about my father," Ridge said, "you've been playing both sides since the day you walked in here. But this? This is the end." The reference to the sickly patriarch whose legacy hovered over them all, Eric Forrester, enraged Ridge. The fallout, secrets revealed, alliances broken. As word of the ultimatum spread, the Forrester-Logan détente began to fall apart. Steffi's ruthless triumph, always pragmatic, Steffi outwardly supported Ridge's choice, saying at a board meeting that Carter was a liability, but her clenched fists showed that she was uncomfortable. At private, she told Finn, "If Ridge turns on Carter, who's next?" "Me? You?" Brooke's fury, with her eyes burning, Brooke barged into Ridge's office and said, "You're ruining this family because of your ego." Ridge's response was cold, "You're the one who brought Carter into your mess. Keep pushing, and you'll be next." Was any of it real? Hope, caught in the crossfire, asked Carter in his penthouse. "Or were you just using me to get back at my mom?" Carter's silence said it all, but as he left, Hope muttered a promise, "I won't let them ruin you." Carter's ex-wife and former plotter Quinn Fuller made a comeback with a warning for Ridge, "You're making a mistake. Carter knows where all the bodies are buried, including yours." This was Quinn's wildcard move. The shadows of the past, a reminiscence of brotherhood. Ridge and Carter's relationship must be revisited in order to comprehend the venom in his ultimatum. Flashbacks highlight key moments. Ridge lauded Carter as the brother I never had when he mediated a high-stakes agreement with a French investor, preventing Forrester from going bankrupt. Even though Quinn's machinations threatened the company, Ridge supported Carter when his marriage to Quinn collapsed, saying, "Your family. We don't turn our backs on family." The silent sacrifices, Carter's invisible actions, such as covering up Thomas's scandals, hiding Eric's health worries, and absorbing shareholder ire, established a picture of a man who had suffered for the Forresters. However, it appeared that loyalty had a limit. Chapter 5, The Bill Spencer Gambit, Carter's Retaliation. Furious and cornered, Carter made a call he had vowed never to make. "It's Carter, Bill. Let's talk." As he poured 2 fingers of whiskey, Bill Spencer, ever the opportunist, smiled and said, "Took you long enough, kid. What's the play?" Using Carter's insider information and Bill's finances, the plan was bold, a hostile takeover of Forrester Creations. However, Carter's motivations went beyond money. Carter said icily, "I want Brooke and Hope to see Steffi fall, and I want Ridge to see everything he's built fall apart. Revenge, money, and chaos? Now you're talking my language," Bill said with a laugh. Ridge's counterattack, Deacon Sharp's comeback. Anticipating Carter's resistance, Ridge looked to an odd ally, Hope's father and Brooke's ex-husband, Deacon Sharp. Leaning against Deacon's bar at Il Giardino, Ridge said, "You want back in Hope's life? Help me take Carter down, and I'll make it happen." Ever the survivor, Deacon gave him a doubtful look and asked, "And why would I trust you?" Ridge retorted, "Because if Carter wins, Brooke loses, and we both know what that'll do to Hope." Ridge only needed Deacon's nod. The front lines, a war-torn family. Alliances changed like sand as the 24-hour deadline approached. Sheila Carter caught Quinn in a dim alley and said, "You want Carter back? Help me sink Ridge, and he's yours." Thomas's hidden agenda, in an attempt to undermine Steffi, Hope's longtime tormentor, Thomas Forrester, leaked fake designs to frame Hope's line. "Perhaps Hope will see me at last if Forrester burns," he thought. Eric's heartbreak, "This isn't what I built." "You're tearing us apart," said Eric, who was weak but determined, as he faced Ridge. Chapter 8, The Repercussions of the Ultimatum, a Burning Company. Carter sent Ridge a single text message announcing his choice, "You'll regret this." The consequences were immediate. The shareholder mutiny, Forrester shares fell after Bill Spencer's takeover offer, using Carter as a stand-in, went public. Save Hope's future, with or without the Forresters, Brooke said, rallying Logan Enterprises investors. Steffi's downfall, Thomas arranged a vote of no confidence against Steffi after the board questioned her leadership. Hope is roasted by Brooke, and Spencer becomes alarmed. According to teasers for Bold and the Beautiful, we will witness Daphne Rose frantically the week of March 24th, while Brooke Logan finally gives Hope Logan some sense and while Spencer is stunned and terrified by something he discovers. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Hope's firing, Steffi's power play, and Forrester Creations fall apart. We only had 3 episodes this week due to basketball preemptions, which is a bummer for sports fans. Nevertheless, we saw Steffi Forrester completely appending things at Forrester Creations as soon as she regained control. I honestly don't remember them explicitly stating that Hope would be guaranteed her employment, even if Eric and Ridge Forrester assured Carter Walton they would continue to operate the Hope for the Future line. They discussed the line, which is an interesting technicality, but Steffi doesn't care either way. She doesn't trust Hope after her betrayal, and once more, everyone is holding her accountable for Carter's actions, which isn't fair, but not even that, because Hope, in contrast to Carter, has no regrets about what she did. In addition to continuously telling Carter and others that they had no choice but to steal Forrester Creations, Hope made sure to throw it in everyone's faces, including Steffi's and Ridge's, and she doesn't believe they did anything wrong. Next week's Bold and the Beautiful, will Spencer panic and Brooke roast Hope? In spoilers for Bold and Beautiful, Steffi reminds Carter that she is co-CEO. Despite the fact that it went against what Eric and Ridge had promised, Steffi also reminded Carter that she is co-CEO, that she was not present for that negotiation, that she disagreed, and that she owns a significant portion of the company. As a result, Steffi put Hope for the future on hold and fired Hope once more, which I fully expected. Eric and Ridge nodded silently, clearly agreeing with Steffi's decision. Steffi said that they just cannot maintain Hope for the future, not just because of the betrayal and the coup, even though it infuriated Brooke. Since Hope's actions demonstrated that she is unfit to represent the brand's values, which include morality, honesty, and everything else Steffi listed, and because she is not a designer, she would not be able to work at Forrester without Hope for the future, which Steffi doesn't want her there in the first place. I don't think she would allow her to scrub the toilets. Next week at B&B, will Carter stick with Hope or Forrester Creations? Hope is obviously upset about being fired again, and she expected Carter to walk out with her in solidarity, leave the Forresters, and leave Forrester Creations permanently. However, Hope tugged at Carter's leash, attempting to exert her influence over him, after we saw that Carter had a huge dilemma at the end of Wednesday's cliffhanger episode, the one before the basketball stuff. After this incident with Hope, we forgave you once, but they won't forgive Carter again. I'm sure Hope believes Carter won't stay at the company because they are a team and they love each other, but I think she is going to get a shock soon. Ridge spoke up and warned Carter, do not take her side again. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, a reality check for Hope, Brooke's breaking point. Hope tells Carter, don't let the Forresters drive us apart, in B&B spoilers for the week of March 24th. However, I don't see how Hope will persuade Carter to accompany her, as he would be foolish to waste this second chance the Forresters are giving him, especially after Carter told Hope that he tore up the papers, essentially saying that he betrayed her, lied to her, and so on, and that she loved him past tense. I expect Carter to stay while Hope leaves, as she has made it clear that she is withdrawing that love. Next week, she will undoubtedly get a slap in the face from her mother Brooke, who has been offended by her daughter's unrepentant attitude for some time. In other words, she will hit Hope with a reality check. But to other people, she kept defending Hope's actions, when she spoke to Ridge and others. Now, however, Brooke is kind of done with Hope, and the following week, she tells Hope that she has no sympathy for her until she accepts responsibility for her actions. This is quite shocking because she usually supports Hope, but not this time. Spoilers for B&B, does Brooke snap? In the conversation that precedes this, I do anticipate Brooke listening to Hope rant about how Steffi had no right to fire her again, how Carter was betrayed by Hope, how Eric and Ridge had lied to him, and how he never should have returned the company to them. In other words, Brooke seems to have no idea that Hope is entirely at fault for participating in the coup, no matter what. It's about time. Based on Hope's expression, it looks like she will lose everything next week. If you don't like what happened at work or that you were fired, you leave, you hire a lawyer, or you find another job. You don't steal the company. However, I don't think Hope will feel bad about it. She will continue to act as though she did nothing wrong, and that's what will make Brooke lose it. Spoilers about Brooke Logan, Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and Will Spencer in Bold and the Beautiful. Will Spencer, Hope Logan, and Brooke Logan are the Bold and the Beautiful. Spoilers for Bold and Beautiful, will Daphne's plan with Steffi be revealed? Speaking of losing things, I'm sure Carter is on that list. He'll check in with Hope to see if the relationship door is open after Carter refused to follow her out the door, but I'm assuming Hope won't be very understanding. Additionally, Daphne is concerned that Carter will discover that she came to Forrester Creations under false pretenses the following week. Next week, Daphne told Steffi that she didn't want Carter to ever know that she had originally come to hope to sabotage him so he would return the company, and that the last thing she wanted Carter to know was that she had devised this seduction plan with Steffi. Steffi is a little taken aback when Daphne tells her, this is what I want. I do expect Steffi to agree to keep Daphne's secret because they are friends, and she quickly realizes that Daphne has fallen pretty hard for Carter. And after the big scene with Hope and Carter this past week, Dee's probably got a real shot to grab up Carter when Hope kicks him out angry. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, will you pardon Daphne? Furthermore, secrets don't always come out on B&B. For example, Finn, Tanner Novlin, is still unaware that Steffi kissed Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, so this may never be revealed at all. Even if Carter eventually discovers that they were conspiring against him, I don't think much will come of it. Even so, I believe he would forgive Daphne if she is with Carter by the time it is revealed. After all, Carter was recently pardoned by the Forresters for a serious transgression, so why would he blame Daphne for trying to force him to do the right thing, even if she arrived with a somewhat dubious plan to do so? Will Spencer is astonished by Sheila connection in Bold and the Beautiful, Luna's web. Next week, Luna Nozawa is in close quarters with her insane grandmother, Grandma Sheila Carter, and Luna is hanging around at Il Giardino. Will also stops by the pizza restaurant. This is the only early spoiler for Bold and the Beautiful that we have. When Wood learns from Luna that his family has been amazing to her and that she wants to return the favor, he is even more astonished than when he first saw Luna there. Naturally, Will would ask himself, what does that even mean, and be even more shocked to learn that Luna is a free woman. Luna has a huge crush on Will, but she knows he's not into her and he has a girlfriend. Will has already told a doctor that Luna is a psycho who deserves life in prison. Naturally, Will be shocked to hear that his father, Bill Spencer, got her released from prison on house arrest and even got her a pardon. The good news is that next week will be a full week of 5 episodes. However, I'm sure Luna will try to convince Will that she's changed. Honestly, it's unclear if she's a new woman or the same old psycho, but for now, it appears that Luna will do everything in her power to win Will over. Bill's risk, Carter's decision, and Brooke's rage unleash mayhem in The Gambit, The Betrayal, The Reckoning. The glistening Los Angeles skyline glowed like a mirage, its splendor concealing the chaos that was building within the boardroom of Forrester Creations. 3 names reverberated through the corridors like a curse, their entwined destiny ready to blow up the tenuous harmony between the Logans and Forresters: Brooke Logan, the matriarch whose fury could destroy empires; Carter Walton, the morally ambivalent COO torn between survival and loyalty; and Bill Spencer, the bold tycoon with a penchant for playing God. Betrayal, extortion, and shattered alliances were the currency of this high-stakes war of attrition that started out as a corporate chess game. One thing became evident as the dust settled: nobody would escape unharmed. Act 1, A Devil's Bargain, Bill's Risk. There was never a risk that Bill Spencer didn't like. His life was a living example of the saying fortune favors the bold, as he was known for betting rivals' wives and using blackmail. His most recent strategy, however, was more audacious than most: a covert takeover attempt for Forrester Creations, arranged under the pretense of a strategic partnership. The goal was straightforward: take advantage of Forrester's growing debt, obtain a majority ownership through shell corporations, and appoint himself as CEO. The catch? To oil the wheels, he needed an insider. Carter Walton comes in. As Bill pushed a contract across his mahogany desk, he purred, "You are the only one who can pull this off." The offer of $20 million, a position on the board of Spencer Publications, and protection from Forrester's impending demise was too good to refuse. However, Carter hesitated since he was still in shock over Ridge's threat to banish him if he didn't leave Brooke. "Bill, this is more than just business. This is kinship." Bill's chuckle was a deep, menacing growl. "Child, family is a fantastic story. Cash? Strength? It's true. And the Forresters currently possess neither." The danger was enormous. If revealed, Carter would be called a traitor and Bill's image would plummet. However, the time was ideal, with Steffi's leadership under threat and Forrester's stock plunging. Bill's risk was based on two facts: Carter Walton was desperate, and desperation fosters recklessness. Act 2, Carter's decision, between survival and loyalty. As the man who buried scandals, subdued opponents, and soothed egos, Carter had always been the fixer for the Forresters. However, that identity had been destroyed by Ridge's order. With his devotion to Steffi overshadowing decades of friendship, Ridge had growled, "You're either with us or against us." Standing in Bill's penthouse now, Carter had to decide between ruining his job and his future or betraying the family he had vowed to protect. He was overwhelmed by the decision's weight. Key moments were revealed by flashbacks. Ridge's betrayal. Ridge openly accused Carter of being a loose cannon when he leaked designs to rescue Hope's line. Brooke's appeal, Brooke's heartfelt plea, "Carter, we need you. I need you." Repeated repeatedly in his head, her frailty standing in sharp contrast to Ridge's brutality. Quinn's warning, he was tormented by his ex-wife's final words, "They'll chew you up and spit you out." Self-preservation prevailed in the end. Carter's signature on Bill's contract served as Forrester Creations' death warrant. However, Brooke texted him as he was leaving Bill's office, saying, "We need to talk. Right now." Act 3, The Matriarch's Fury, Brooke rips. Catherine Kelly Lang's character, Brooke Logan, had always been a force to be reckoned with. Her devotion for her family was both her greatest asset and her biggest weakness. However, her maternal rage turned into something primordial when she discovered Bill and Carter's scheme, through a leaked email that was forwarded by an unidentified tipster. The room fell silent when Brooke burst into Forrester's design office, where Hope and Steffi were engaged in a passive-aggressive argument over fabric swatches. She said, her voice shaking with anger, "Bill and Carter are trying to destroy this company. And everything we've built, everything Eric built, will be gone if we don't stop them." The consequences were immediate. Hope was horrified, Carter would never. Hope stumbled, her trust in their partnership eroding. Steffi's defense, "I told you Carter couldn't be trusted," Steffi spat, blaming Brooke with a scowl. "You are to blame for this." Ridge's comeback, "We fight fire with fire," Ridge said, rallying the board. "Additionally, I know exactly how to burn them." Brooke wasn't finished, though. She approached Carter at his apartment that evening, her rage igniting every word. "You betrayed us to Bill? Following all that I have done for you?" Carter's diversion, "I took the necessary action," only made her angry. Brooke stunned even herself by slapping him, her palm cracking across his cheek like a gunshot. She spit out, "You're dead to me," and stormed out as Carter fell into a sulky stillness. Act 4, Betrayal, Blackmail, and a Broken Legacy, The Dominoes Fall. Bill's plot fell apart after Brooke's disclosure was made public, but not before some people were killed. The shareholder mutiny. In a frenzy about the incident, Forrester's investors called for Steffi to step down. When Eric Forrester, John McCook, threw the tie-breaking ballot to remove his granddaughter, a hurriedly called vote descended into mayhem. Hope's rebellion. After Steffi fired Hope and Carter betrayed him, Hope formed an odd partnership with Thomas Forrester, using his talent for design to start a competing brand under the Logan name. "Ignore Forrester," she said. "We'll construct a better one." Quinn's retaliation. Rena Sofer's character Quinn used information about Bill's offshore accounts to blackmail him into seeding the media conglomerate owned by Spencer Publications. She sneered, "You stole everything from me. I'm taking it back now." Carter spiraled in the meanwhile. His once sharp mind was dimmed by self-loathing, and he resorted to liquor and reckless stock trading as a result of Brooke's censure and Bill's threats. After a nighttime altercation with Ridge at the Forrester estate, Carter made the inebriated admission, "I did it for you. To spare you the errors of Steffi." Ridge's icy response was, "You don't get to play hero now." Act V, The Reckoning, Second Chances and Sacrifices. Ultimately, the consequences compelled harsh realizations. Bill's demise. After being revealed as the mastermind behind the takeover, Bill was charged with federal crimes and subjected to a boardroom coup headed by his son Liam. In a lyrical turn, Liam reclaimed Spencer Publications and muttered, "You're done." Carter's redemption arc. Disgraced and bankrupt, Carter donated his remaining assets to Forrester's charity wing in an attempt to gain forgiveness through a public admission of guilt on Ion Fashion. As he watched from a distance, Brooke silently acknowledged their broken relationship with a single tear. Brooke's Pyrrhic victory, Forrester lived, but at a high price. Ridge's mistrust of Brooke grew into cold estrangement, and Hope's defection to Logan Enterprises shattered the family. Ridge told her sourly, "You won. But take a look at what you lost."